I put a very, very basic question here to every one of you, that what is development and what is growth? Does growth reflect the development of this country? What is development? Development is the health of the country. Development is the educational level of your country. Development is the alleviation of the poverty of this country. Development is the gender justice. Unfortunately, we speak of gender justice even in the 21st century. It's a very, very ridiculous situation. We have not come out of the child labor. We have not come out of the abuse of the children. No amount of constitutional laws, no amount of constitutional provisions of any country could put an end to this. But you as people, we the people of India, you the people belong to the Republic of China and Taiwan, I do not know the constitution, all of you, everything lies in your own hands, in our hands, not in the machinery that we are creating for ourselves. If you rise up, then we are there to protect ourselves. Now, economics is now built up upon the material aspects of development, but we have not to lose sight of culture, and it's like an oxen-driven cart. You need to have culture and society to drive the economics into the road of development and progress. Growth does not reflect the development of the economy. The economies are always of the view, the economies are growing, India is growing, India is shining. Yes, India is shining, India is growing with 9% and 12% growth rate. But why 1/4 of the Indian population is still poor? I am not here to reflect the poverty of this country. This is a problem everywhere in the world. I think if Dr. Pry would accept me that I saw even poor people in America. I am very sorry to say. The countries, some of the Western countries, they don't reflect, they don't display the poverty. But we the Asians, we always project our poverty. We want to get Nobel Prizes out of showing our poverty. Now let us think of ourselves. How then to reflect our culture? How then to protect our culture? How then to carry on our culture to the whole world, as much as we have carried the market abroad? The the Chinese have taken their markets to America. The Indians have taken their intellectual labor to America. Now, why not we take our own culture on to the rest of the world? No, Indians and the Chinese, we are like two big elephants. They are not white elephants, they are big giant elephants. You know what happens when the giant elephants get angry? You know what happens? So, this is how you have to take the countries of the Asia, like India and China, as the giants of this world. Very soon, I think during my lifetime, I am going to find that these two countries are going to emerge as the biggest powers and tilt the balance of the development of this country, the development of this world, from the west to the east, especially with the Asian elephants, China and India. I want all of you to think on these lines before. I would like to say my topic of study today, or expression today, is the protection of folklore and the cultural economics of folklore. I want to put culture as in a bandwagon. I want to put culture as the basis of the development of any country. If you lose your culture, if you lose the traditions of the country, if you lose the folklore, or if you lose the traditional knowledge of this country, then your country cannot progress. You can go to America, but do not understand that. Don't copy their lifestyles. You know Mrs. Scott, she has carried on the Indian style of living for the last 3.5 years, and she has carried so much of traditional artifacts from India to West, to her own place. So this is to say that the world is flat. Now coming to the cultural economics, you know the folklore, we are very proud of our folklore. Folklore is commonly believed to be the oral literature handed down to us from generation to generation. It reflects the community, their lifestyles, their thoughts, their actions, their cultural instincts in the human beings. Cultural instincts in the human, which are reflected in the folklores of any country. A folk culture may be thought as a common way of life, which characterizes some of all the people of all the villages, towns, and cities with given area. And folklore is a performing art, is part of the folklore. And now, I'm not going to talk about the characteristics of folklore. I'm not going to talk about who is a folk, because generally we address us as a folk. Then we called us as comrades. Then we called us as pals. Then we called us as friends. But we are folks. Now, economists try to understand even culture as an economic good. Now, how culture is an economic good? Because culture is a public good. Anybody can make use of it. There is no rivalry. You cannot buy it. And there is a cultural industry, because industry only develops any art, because you need industrial support to develop your art. Then culture is a merit good, because it claims all the merit of the merit goods. It gets all the support. It requires all the support, or justifies all support of a merit good. And the cultural planning is very important for the culture to develop and sustain. And there is a lot of conventions all over the world, and there are organizations all over the world. There are various UN agencies working on this. There are various conventions working on this. There are various national bodies and international bodies working on this. Are they going to help us? Please think of it. Because when your development is going to be supported by your market forces, when I have to send the countrymen to foreign countries for higher education, and when I have to find markets for my commodities outside my countries, instead of looking into the market inside the country, when I'm going to look at the people outside my country and not looking at the people inside the country, my expectations get enlarged. And therefore, I become greedy. Then therefore, I concentrate on the development which is going to give more wealth to my country. But am I developing my own people? This is a very big question that you have to answer. And it is not with reference to any other commodity, it refers to your own culture also. See, I think I came with a lot of other ideas to talk on the technical aspects of folklore, and the technical aspects of how you look at the cultural